What's going on, guys? Pegasus and the Wise Guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub, make sure you hit the bell, guys. We're taking a long break from videos, but we're back. Make sure you check out the clothing line stuff at the end of the video. Let's get it. Chiefs Kingdom. What's going on, guys? Pegasus and the Wise Guys. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you sub, make sure you hit the bell. This Alpha Zeta combo that you see every flipping time that we do one of these Drytron videos, I have to start with, just so you have a basis of where to start with. Alpha Zeta is the best thing that you want to start with. So when you do start with that and you get to dump a Gamma and then normal summon a Diviner off of the Ben 10 that you tributed, you basically get to a 5th summon Baron. 6th summon, really. That means they have to force it out right there, and then it won't really mean anything. Therefore, you basically played around the nib anyway. In case they hold it and trying to be really stingy and hoping for something, maybe they have double hand traps. They have something possibly strong that can hurt you later on in the turn. But most of the time, maybe that's why you want to play the Herald stuff in your extra deck. But for this essential combo, I always start off by going into a dagger right after I make the Baron, and then from there going into the Megalith plays so that I can essentially trigger off the Scythe as fast as possible and get it on the field with the Baron as soon as I make it, to always kind of keep that in my mind. If I could kind of mention anything, guys, I would always mention to keep the same kind of basic linear combos in your mind, but some things will slightly change given what your hand does that will add to it or take away from it. Sometimes horrible bricks can really take away from your hands, but Drytron can still pop off of one card. For me, I play IP. This is Dan in that combo and in this one as well. He plays Herald. I feel like neither one is I feel like Herald is probably more correct just because the Lancet can also mean something else in case you don't chain it. But just in case you don't, it is what it is. For this combo, I wanted to show basically, and Dan, this is actually Dan, the worst name that you could open possible. This name, the Beta Rastabon, actually isn't that bad, especially in this current format where stuff like Crow exists. I basically wanted to show where one name can still get you pretty far, because that always means a Beatrice. In a lot of these builds currently, Beatrice is only really helping you if you brick, or it's helping you extend in a crazier build like the Amor Factor Pain build. I use it a lot. But as far as this combo is concerned, you're basically going for the same thing and then tributing off when you can't get to an alpha immediately. You will have to get to it later. Therefore, yes, you will have to tribute off of Fafnir. I know that does suck, and it's kind of cost expensive for what the deck can provide most of the time, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do, and you have to get to alpha because you have to get to Ophiel and essentially get to the same repeated combo where you get into full, you get into a Dagda, you get into a Bathor and a Scythe somewhere in your hand. This time it's going to your hand instead. If you can't, guys, listen to me. If you can't get Dagda on the field in time to do what you want to do, then you will have to use the last fairy search for the artifact Scythe instead of the Lancia. Now, obviously, because of that being the terrible name, that means you can't open Lancia. That's literally what that means. I hope that helps you in some kind of way. In this combo, I wanted to show Alpha and Gamma because, well, let's face it, pitching off a Gamma to then go into a Ben 10 search means you're going to see Link Rebo on the field very quickly. And then from there, the Fafnir is going to dump Zeta this time. And then with the fairy search that you had earlier, you're going to use Diviner. Diviner is going to send Herald, and Herald is going to add Ophiel. You're then going to pitch the Ophiel for Zeta. And then from there, you're going to take that and the Link Rebo and make the artifact Dagda, because that's two monsters with different names. You're then going to activate Meteon's Drytron, set the artifact Scythe, and then pop off with the Ophiel into the same essential combos that you would do every time. But this time I would go into Baron as soon as possible. That's not going to be, that's obviously after 5, but I would want to do it before I would do my full play. I would basically say get Baron on the field at least with that. If you get Valor nibbed or something like that, then that's just going to happen to you. But I mean, that means something is going to still resolve, or you're going to have a name somewhere. It's basically still going to be kind of what it is, guys. Basically, moving on, I wanted to again show that every single time this combo ends, you either have Artifact Lancia, a Bathor, or for me, I like to play IP Masquerade just because I like Appaloosa so much. And then having so many cards on the field gives you options on your opponent's turn to either crack them in the head with a Bathor or crack them in the head with a Bathor and follow up with an Appaloosa. I haven't seen anybody be able to withstand that yet, and I do that a lot to people. So that's why I like IP Masquerade. Other people like Harold. It literally is up to you. Some of it is blowing you out before you could go, and some of it isn't. You know, some of it just kind of changes up. And this combo, guys, again, kind of showing the essential basics. I'm really interested in doing the Slifer combo. I mean, the Slifer combo is cool. I'll probably try it. I might try it. I might try it this weekend for locals. I might try it. We'll see. But as far as this combo is concerned, this is a Nova and a name. I could show like 7 different variants of the same thing. It's pretty much always going to try to equal the same thing, because you're always going to have to get to an alpha at some point. Whether that alpha is immediate, or you have to use a Mubeta Fafnir and cross your fingers and hope you don't get hand trapped to sleep and can get one into the graveyard. That's how you can pop off and then get some kind of name into the grave. As far as this one, I wanted to show that Nova and Diviner also is pretty strong itself. That means you really didn't open up a name per se, but you still have a way to get to something. Starting off, I normal summon Harold. That's how I would do it, just to draw the Veiler in, but just to know what in the world I need to do. And then from there, going into using the Nova to then use the Zeta to then link it off, make Link Haribo, and then start off your Wombo combos from there. And then this time, grab an additional Ben 10, because you're going to use the other one to dump into the graveyard and then get to pop off from there. Getting somewhere at least by remembering that you didn't even actually open up a name per se, and now you do have names. Use those 2 monsters with 2 different names, Beatrice being one of them, to then make Dagda, and then use the Fafnir and trigger the Dagda in that way. Yes, if you don't open a name per se at all, except for like a Nova, that's the play that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to remember that, because it will happen. And if you want to use Dagda, you will screw that combo up if you don't actually remember that. I'm literally telling you that because I did that. You have to remember that, hey, even if I don't even see a name, if I see a green card, I'm still going to get there in some kind of way. No pun intended. Guys, for me, honestly, that kind of sums up everything that I wanted to talk about, because basically the Megatron build is the same thing over and over and over again, and it really doesn't give a crap about going first or going second. It's going to be able to fight through or protect from your opponent's board and just clean them up with the Natasha and the Drytron engine as well. I really feel like this is the if they don't hit Scythe on the ban list, I still feel like this is the craziest rogue. It's definitely the best rogue deck, but I feel like it's still meta because all you need is 2 names. And heck, in this video, I've shown a couple times, shout out to Dan, Father Gallagher, you can have 1 name and not even a name and still get there. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you cop the clothing line, and we'll see you next time. Pegasus out. Arrivederci.